What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. It's been a little while, but it's been finals weekend in the States and also in Europe. And so I have Danny Hype with me today, and we're just going to talk about what our experiences at our respective finals were like.
What's up, guys? Yeah, it was a really good event. I had a blast, and I'm so happy that you guys did so well over in EU.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think we had around 280 players, which we actually thought that turnout was slightly disappointing.
oh yeah, you guys expected more, I guess, or
Yeah,
did
yeah,
you guys have
yeah.
last chance qualifiers?
Well, actually, our event was an open event,
Oh, so anybody
and
can just come. Okay.
yeah, it was an open event, and then you got invites, which gave you round one buys.
Oh yeah, I think that's how they should have done it over here as well.
Yeah, because I know there were a lot of people sort of rushing to get their invite.
Yeah,
So
yeah. For ours, we had in the main event, I believe the final count was about 425.
nice, nice.
Um, However, I think there was an extra like 100 plus people there, um, but they weren't able to get their invites through the LCQ because I heard I didn't experience it too much because I was doing other stuff, but some of my friends were in the LCQ and I hear stories from here and there. But I guess um, the LCQs weren't the greatest of at least allowing people to get their invites. So it was unless you got into one of the either good pods or happened to do really well in one of the earlier pods. Um, you really only had one shot to kind of get in to the main event, and I think honestly it felt like there was a lot of people just kind of like chilling around on the next day that weren't able to get an invite. So
Oh wow.
I believe we would have hit at least 500 plus if everybody that was there was able to obtain an invite.
Okay.
So
Well, what
that was
was?
probably the disappointing part.
How did you actually get an invite for finals?
So for the myself or just for the
Oh,
LCQ stuff?
just in general.
Yeah, in general. So yeah, so to get an invite to nationals, you had to place well enough in one of the regionals leading up to it, and there were about um, four. I think there were like four per month. Or no, it was two regionals per month. Or sorry, no, it was it was 1 month of regionals, and then the next well, there's one every weekend, and then the next month it would be so you'd have to play in a store qualifier to qualify for um, regionals to either play in the open or closed, and then they had another set of regionals for another four. So there's 2 months of four, and then 2 months layoff in between them, where you have to try winning a store qualifier to get in. That's how it was supposed to be originally, but I think after the first of regionals, uh, I guess they kind of if you won a regional qualifier from the original month, you were able to attend uh, the final month where they were supposed to be kind of split up into two different like little seasons, I guess, within one big season.
Yeah.
So those kind of, but so yeah, you had to play an open and closed. You had to place well enough. I believe 1 in 4 people in the closed got an invite, and then 1 in 8 people in the open got an invite to nationals. And then after all of it, when you don't have an invite yet or weren't able to play in any of the regionals, they had last chance qualifiers, which were 32-man pods. And then if you went X1 or better, you got an invite. Now, that sounded great, and there's a lot of people. The line for the LCQs were massive. However, it looked like the time restraints on them were kind of what hindered them. I believe the first event was supposed to start, let's say, at like 1 or something, but it didn't start 2-3 hours later. And then their 32-man, the first 32-man pod, I heard lasted 8 hours for a
Wow.
4 round 32-man tournament. Now, if you were in that first pod, right? If you were in that first pod, and let's say you made it to like the 4th round and you're X1 and you need to be X1 or better, but then you lose that last round, now you're X2, you don't get your invite, and you just spent 8 hours in that first pod,
That's
right?
crazy.
So now obviously people, let's say if you were to lose X2, right, join pod 2, pod 3, pod 4. I think they had up to like 8 pods or so. But as the day got better, I think some of the pods ended up being shorter, right? So it's like you spent 8 hours in pod 1, but maybe pod 7 only lasted 5 hours or something like that, right? And then eventually they changed it to only 16-man pods, and then they changed it to 8-man. They try to get as much people in, right? And then to get as much people in, and then they changed it to 8-man pods, best of ones.
What?
Now, if you're in an 8-man pod, best of ones, you could probably jam a lot of those faster, right? To kind of get your invite, because that's the most important thing. Now, some people, like one of the guys I knew, he was in a pod, and during that pod there were like 2-hour breaks before the next round started, right? And he decided to take the chance after one of his matches finished really quick to just enter another pod to take his chances, play that round, and hope he finished that match before his other round started in the other pod, right? So he was actually able to, and he was actually successfully able to, I guess the way that rounds were going, he was always free to play in the other pod. And then he ended up actually making it to the final, like getting a good enough record in both pods. So he actually ended up getting 2 invites.
Wow.
Obviously you don't need to, but but yeah, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, so I think that was probably the biggest problem I saw with the event for some of my friends, at least. They did try to help out afterwards by everybody that didn't get into the main event, they got a free draft basically. So they held a lot of draft tournaments on Sunday, and they were able to play for free for one of them. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, that's nice. I mean, did all these LCQs cost money to enter?
I believe it's like I believe they're like $30 a pop, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, so it did get pretty pricey, I think, if you were, but don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure they were $30.
Yeah. So I mean, here we had I think we had a bunch of store preliminaries where 1 in 8 got the invite, and then you would get pass downs as well within those. Then we had 3 large scale ones, so 1 in Frankfurt, 1 in London, and 1 in Barcelona, where the top 25% of the participants managed to get an invite. But then, as I said, ours was just it was a buy for round 1, and we all had to pay for entry anyway. So I think that's the difference. You guys had a free event, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually didn't realize it was free until I went to register, and it just said free. I'm like, oh, this is a free event, sweet. I was like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but then I guess it's good if you went to a regionals and then you got your invite there. But for those like just really grinding out the LCQs, they would have spent a lot of money just entering those tournaments just to get
for sure.
into finals.
Yeah, for me actually, like the way the season went, because I got my invite from the very first celebration, which was even before the regional season started. It actually, like last year, I traveled a lot, even though I didn't need to. I traveled a lot to all these regionals, one because I wanted to compete and it was fun. But for this year, it's like after winning my invite, it felt like it was less important for me to go to any of the events. So I ended up just going to the ones that were close enough to me, just because I wanted to compete and support the game. But normally when I would like fly to Vegas or fly to somewhere to play, I had no need to. So that kind of, in a sense, a little bit ruined my experience just because I wanted to travel, but when there's no reason and the pricing wasn't like kind of insane that I'd be crazy to miss it type deal, it felt like I kind of missed out on a lot of the season.
Yeah. Sort of. I think we had a few complaints about our pricing, and we always have complaints about our pricing actually. But the large scale prelims, they were literally that. They were large scale prelims, and sort of in our mind, because we haven't had too many big events, we thought they were like regionals. But I think in Bandai's eyes, they're definitely not regionals, and the pricing reflected that. So it was difficult for some of us to travel to these large prelims because the pricing just really wasn't there. And if you got your invite at the your local store preliminary, or one in the town, sort of about an hour drive away, then there was no point in going to those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like the way they did the whole open and close thing too was kind of disappointing in the fact that just me participating. So I know the first regionals that we had here in Canada, um, half of the guy, like actually majority of the guys on the team were in the open because we didn't have a lot of store qualifiers. So only a few of us actually got to play in the closed from our area, and it was like me and a couple guys were part of the closed group, and our entry pricing for the closed was better than um, what I guess Zuhair inevitably ended up winning in the event because he won the open, but just for entering, just for being part of the close, like those packs at the time were just worth more, and we got more value just from that, which I felt that was a little disappointing winning an
Mm.
event like that and kind of they not getting anything, I guess, really in a sense.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think that's definitely something Bandai need to look at going into next year. But I think they've sort of tried out this new system, right, for
Yeah.
finals and having prelims. So hopefully there will be improvements next year.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure. I'm hoping to, yeah, definitely learn from the experience and kind of pick what was good and pick what was bad and move forward with that.
yeah, so the second thing I wanted to talk about was looking at the top 16 results from North America, and also from us. So we had about 100 fewer players than you did, but you only had 8 rounds.
Oh yeah, so that was another. Actually, that was actually a really funny thing that happened. So yeah, we had 425 players. Now, at the beginning of the event, announced that it would be uh, 9 rounds, depending on what happens first, whether 9 rounds happens first or there's only one undefeated left, let's say by round 7 or 8, then that's when it would stop.
Okay.
So it would stop when there was at least one undefeated. Now in round 7 there were 5 undefeateds left. One got the pair down and he won his match, so he was undefeated. The other 4 who played each other, they ended up drawing that
Oh.
round, right? So now with those 4 draws, now there's technically only one undefeated left. Um, and so that was it, right? Everyone's like, oh, it's over, like only one undefeated. And some people were cheering because if you were at least X1 or so, you were probably part of top 16, or if your record was good enough, right? So
Yeah.
those people were kind of cheering. But I guess because of so many draws like that, it made it so there was actually quite a bit of X1s that weren't even in the top 16. And I guess they decided, because there wasn't a definitive top 16 cut, and I guess it looked really bad, that they decided to add an 8th round, which the rest of the crowd kind of cheered for, right? Everyone's like, yeah, 8th round. Everyone still has a chance, to kind of keep pushing forward. So then the 8th round happens. And then now I think now X1 makes it in, right? Because before some X1s weren't even going to make it in. So now X1 makes it in. But if you were part of one of those people who were already X1, and let's say you lost that last round, now you go X2 and you're bumped out of top 16, right? So now those people were kind of salty because they were, they had it at round 7, but now round 8 happens and they don't have it anymore. So that kind of, so that was kind of, people were really upset about that. People were really upset that it wasn't a top 32. So there's a bunch of things that, obviously could have. Honestly, it really depends which crowd, right? Like some crowds would have liked the thing to end there. Some crowd would have loved it to keep going. Some people, actually, I think most people would have preferred a top 32, but they stuck with the top 16.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Things like that. But that was another thing that kind of happened at the end there.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't
it
so
just
also I
it
didn't
looked
really
it was weird because you didn't even end up with an X1.
In the
Yeah, you didn't even end up with a first place. There were 2 players on 22.
Yeah, because I think our the one that was perfect played against one of those guys who drew, and then the guy he beat our only perfects, and now all of a sudden there is no perfects, and it's like, oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and 2 X1 ones didn't make it either, which was
Yeah, 2x1s didn't make it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely need a 9th round for this.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate.
There were a lot of draws as well, actually.
Yeah,
so I count 9 in the top 16 had at least one draw.
Yeah, it's weird because it's hard to kind of tell whether some are intent or not. I do believe some were probably the players like, oh, let's just draw so we can give ourselves a better chance. But then there were still a lot of draws. So now the rounds went 1 hour round. Then you have 10 minutes to finish your turns, and if you didn't finish your turns, the game just ends there in a draw. And it was surprising to see there's actually quite a bit of people like after every round went the extra 10 minutes, right? Plus
okay.
a little bit more because they still have to input all of this stuff and then shoot the next round out, right? So every round ended up being like an hour and like 20, an hour and a half, because and it kind of boggles my mind that it's like I don't know if people are slow playing or but you look throughout all the tables and they're after 1 hour and 10 minutes there's still people playing and it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, because I mean we didn't have many draws at all. Looking at our scores, even in the top 32, we only had 9 draws overall, or 9 players with draws.
Oh, wow.
And we were actually finished. I think we started a bit late, and but we were out of there at 10 p.m.
Oh wow.
So we played 9 rounds. We announced the top 16, and we actually got out of there by 10 to get food. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure ours was. I'm pretty sure ours. I don't remember the exact time, but it was late.
yeah,
and we only did 8 rounds. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, our format was slightly different because you had the Magnificent Collection legal, which we didn't. We still don't actually have that released yet. But I don't think it should have made that much of a difference.
Yeah, I didn't see the most represented decks were, I'd say, the Shenron stuff, and the Apes. Those two were kind of running rampant, and then you had your Pans and your Demigras, and a little bit of Toa, and that was, and I guess Baby as well. But nothing like those were, I think, a lot less represented than the two main decks in Brawly and Shenron.
Yeah, so I just
I'm not sure. Even some of the Magnificent stuff, I didn't see too many people using too many cards from that outside of maybe the Demigras that came out. But yeah, I couldn't tell if it was just the meta of or just how people play here, maybe compared to where you guys play. People like either there are people that that play slow or try to grind out the time, but I don't know. I don't catch myself in that situation too much.
I mean, for us, I think the games just went quite quickly. Even in Top Cut, I think there was only ever one game that went the distance because Top Cut was 90 minutes. But I think loads of them just finished within the hour anyway. And we had about 32% of either Brawly, Shenron, or Purunga. So that was pretty much everything, and everything else is red, I think. But yeah, I mean that's definitely something that's different between the player bases. I think Sandy, who played in the States, he commented on that as well. That generally people, can you hear me?
I could hear a little bit. But...
Yeah. So Sandy was commenting that when he was over in the States, generally people just played a bit slower. So don't know if that's intentional. I hope not. But I guess it is what it is, because I saw people complain on Facebook about it. A lot of draws, people going into time, and it just seemed a bit strange to us. That's all.
Yeah, like outside of that, like honestly, my personal experience, I actually had a great time. I didn't really run into any of the time procedural problems. Sometimes the rounds felt long, but I was doing other stuff anyway, so it's like, oh, I finished my round and I kind of walked around. And there's so many people to talk to and things to do that it wasn't like I was sitting there waiting for a while. So it didn't feel like, to me personally, it didn't feel like that bad. I've been to so many of these events that I've been to ones that were way worse and like 15-hour days and like just playing and things like that this kind of stuff is kind of just like normal to me. So I don't really, some of the complaints that people had, I didn't experience. In my personal experience, I had a blast.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I'm just gonna bring up our finals breakdown here. I know you can't see it, but I'll read it out to you. So this is the top 16 that we had. We had 3 Brody Apes. That was blue yellow. 2 red yellow Brody Apes. 1 red Gogeta, which ended up winning. 2 Tricolor Janemba. 3 Baby, because of course Silk was there.
Really...
was
Silk one of the ones that made top?
Yeah, Silk won the London prelim with Baby, and he topped the Frankfurt large prelim as well. He also topped our Open Championship in February, so that's sort of where it started. And then he's been playing Baby ever since, even though he did try other decks, but he just sort of kept going back to it.
Yeah.
We had 1 Lord Slug, 1 Blue Kidku, 1 Traitor Dende, 1 Soul Striker, and 1 Pronga Ramp. So out of the how many percent was that? So Shenron 11 Pronga. So about 20% of Dragon Ramp. Only 1 made it into top 16.
Oh wow. Yeah, we had I don't remember. I don't think I've seen the breakdown yet, but ours wasn't. I don't think we had that many different things. There's a lot of apes. There's Shenrons. I think we had 2 Pans, and 1 Janemba, and then I believe no, and then there was 1 Hirudegarn, and then the rest were either Shenrons or variants of the Broly package, like the Broly ape stuff.
Yeah. I think for us, I think apes just generally did really well. I don't think that many people had apes in Europe because we only had it out for 2 weeks. And the pull rates are terrible.
Yeah.
So people were like, the morning of, people were trying to get apes. It's like there's no way you're playing this deck today. Just play something else.
Yeah.
So
no, honestly, I think the path to getting to the top is just like, it just felt like based on your matchups, whatever matchup you decided like you run into. Like when I ran into Janembas, Toas, and Shenrons, those were probably the easier matchups for me. And if I just played, if I played a bunch of Shenrons all day, which there was a bunch of, which I only saw 1, I would have had a great day. Or if I played 2 Toas, and I played 1 Janemba, but I happened to run into 2 Pans, which seemed like an auto loss for my deck, unfortunately. So that one kind of knocked me out. And then I drew with the Kidku. That one was just really like defensive, so it was hard for me to kill him in time, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, so it really did feel, if you just kind of dodged enough of your bad matchups and ran into at least 50-50s or ran into good matchups, you'd be pretty successful.
Yeah, I mean, I played Ramp myself, and I was expecting a lot of mirrors, so I made Dende. I played 1 mirror, and that was in like round 6 or something, after I was on the lower tables anyway. I played, it was just red everywhere. I think that's what happened. All the Shenron got paired against the red in the early rounds, and they just couldn't recover.
True, yeah.
So, although saying that, I think I was 3-1 against red that day, but there you go. But yeah, we had a pretty diverse top 16, but definitely I think if you had the apes, you were gonna do quite well.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was super popular, especially the different variants of builds. You could see some builds were just a lot better than others, but for the most part, the top tables, whenever I walked by, there was at least an ape on one of the sides.
Yeah, was there a lot of Toa there? Because we had, according to this, we had 9% of the field was Toa, and not a single one made it into top 16.
Yeah, I didn't see too many Toas. One of my friends from Montreal, he was playing Toa, and he's probably one of the better players here in Canada. He actually made it, so I think he was X1 X1 at this point. Yeah, he was X1-1 versus his opponent. Now, in the 8th round, it's a win and in, right? If you win, you're 6-1-1 and you're most likely top cut. And then if you lose, you're X2-1 and you're not in.
Yep.
Now they played each other. I think whoever it goes to game 3, they're in time. He plays the 1-drop Mira. This is what I was told. This is not the 1-drop Mira, the 7-drop Mira. Swings for a game. The opponent thinks. Obviously, you can't combo out of this. Time is called.
Oh.
Because time was called at that exact moment, while his opponent was thinking, it was declared a draw. And they both got a draw, which means they were X1-2, which means they both didn't make top cut.
Yeah.
Right? So they both get knocked out, opposed to at least one of them being in. So that was unfortunate that he was in that spot.
I mean, at this point, it's worth one of them giving the other person the game, right?
Exactly.
Because it's worth their while, right?
Yeah. He swung and he won, but then I guess the opponent kind of saw, oh, there's 10 seconds left. If I just sit here for 10 seconds.
That's crazy.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
so it was really unfortunate.
If you're not going to win, you don't make top cut, so you might as well just do your opponent a solid, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it was very unfortunate for him. But he would have been one of the only TOA players. I think he was the only TOA player that was close enough to make, who was in the position, at least in the last round, to make top cut that I saw.
Yeah, we did have
in the lower tables.
We did have, I think, 19th, 18th, and 19th was both TOA, so they both kind of bubbled out in our one. So I mean, did that scenario happen a lot? Because I've seen online where people have been complaining
it
about
did, actually. I've seen a lot of people in that situation where time was called and they were either close to winning or, you know, and then it's like, oh, nope. Even like mid combo, I heard people, but and then even if you're mid combo, it's still a draw. So that was unfortunate for a lot of the players. At least I saw some people talking about it.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, there was always, the rounds went maximum 10 minutes. And there were still people playing all over the place, and I was like, "What are you guys doing? It's been an hour and 10 minutes. Even like 10 minutes to finish 3, like 0, 1, 2, 3. It seems like a lifetime. And if you can't finish those turns in 10 minutes, then somebody's slow playing for sure."
Yeah, because I mean, for me personally, I never went into time, even in the Rat Mirror match. I don't think we went into time in that one either. So, actually, wait, no, the mirror we did actually, yeah. That was the only game that I went into time on. But you know, the Rat Mirror goes to like 8 turns. So, in terms of the event itself, were there any sort of issues with players that you experienced, or?
Me personally, no. I have a great time whenever I go to these events, just seeing the American friends. I was able to do some guest commentary for the top cut because obviously it was not good enough to be in the top cut, but they got me in for some of the guest commentary, which is honestly, it was a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff with, I was able to commentate with like Richard Zapp and David and the super players. They're like, they're hilarious. Tony G's, he's really fun to do commentary with. He's really funny. But yeah, being able to do that and kind of have that kind of experience was really fun. I was on stream too, and they had us on. It was actually like we were on a stage, right? And then like, so that was really cool. The two like stores, I guess, that were selling product, they had like everything in stock, which is really nice. So like if you needed something, they most likely had it. So that was really cool. And then they had a bunch of side events and like prize wall stuff. Kind of, it almost felt like it was like an arcade in a sense, where you know you're playing side events and you get these these points, and then you can use those points to redeem stuff off their prize wall.
Yeah,
which I thought was really cool. That was kind of fun for the other people who didn't really get to do too much.
Were the prize wall prizes good? Because we had a prize wall as well, and it was just like sleeves and deck boxes, which were the actually obtainable items.
Oh yeah, so like it's funny because like there's like draft boxes, at least while supplies lasted. they had like promo cards and like those promo packs, like champion packs, and they had some decent stuff. Like the ultimate prize was a Nintendo Switch, which at the time cost 6,000 points. Now my friend did the math behind it, and he was like, in order to win the 6,000 points, you need to win every side event, because like you got 500, I think, right, for winning like the one of the LCQ pods.
Okay.
But if you won the LCQ pod, you couldn't play in any more LCQ pods, right? So you would get your 500 from that, and then after that, anything, like all the other tournaments, there was no tournaments where you won 500 points, right? So there was something where you're winning 10 points or maybe 100 points if you're lucky. So if you're winning 100 points per thing, getting to 6,000 was quite a long ways away. So I think they realized that eventually, or at least somebody brought it up to them, and they ended up lowering that threshold to 2,000. Right, so it only cost you 2,000 points to get it. Okay. So I'm not sure if anybody actually obtained that, but
I mean, how much were the side events? Like 10 to 20 to enter?
Honestly, most of them are actually. I actually don't. Oh, I know the drafts were probably like $30 or so.
Yeah.
But the constructed stuff, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much those ones were.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, for me, I went on commentary as well for the finals.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was really good, but then at the same time, because it was Aaron against Diego, so it was my teammate was there, and I had to just try and be as neutral as possible.
Yeah.
And then like because the stream chat was very much in Diego's favor as well. So I was like, oh, where's Aaron's fans? And then a few of his locals showed up in stream chat, so that was cool.
That's cool.
It was.
We actually had it so we couldn't see the stream chat, so we were just kind of just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was really tense though, and it was very hard to stay neutral because the stream chat kept talking about what was in their hands, and you couldn't see Aaron's hand, but you could see Diego's hand very clearly.
Okay.
So because we were actually quite close to them, I was just trying not to say anything in the hand in case Aaron could hear, in case they could hear, because Aaron was the one closer to me as well. And then I was just like, oh yeah, you guys comment in the chat, but I can sort of say yes or no, but I'm not going to name any cards just in case they can hear.
Yeah.
Because we knew when he had the negates, we knew when he had the Vegeta, so it was like just.
Yeah. It was actually a really funny thing that happened in the finals was. Actually, there's a lot of funny things that happened in the finals, but right at the end when the winner when he won the event. I guess there must have been a delay because there was a big prompter screen that everyone else was watching, that people could watch the event, right? So they were all off on the sides, kind of watching this big screen projector, watching the finals, and we were at the desk watching on the computer. And I don't know if there was I assume there was a delay because when we saw Brian won, we were like, yeah, woo! And we were clapping, but the room was still dead silent, right? And then we kind of looked over and nobody was up and cheering yet. We're like, what's going on here? And then like at least a 5-second delay, all of a sudden everyone's like, yeah, and then they started cheering. So that was really funny. But yeah, no, doing the commentary stuff was a really good time.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, we didn't have a big screen or anything, so it was just people who actually went on Twitch to watch. But everyone else in the room had no. Oh, sorry.
I cannot hear you.
Okay. We didn't have a big screen. So everyone in the room didn't know what was happening.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
And so they when it finished, my team the team came over to ask, and I was like, oh no, he didn't win in the end, unfortunately.
Oh no.
But yeah, no, he did really well though. Aaron, you're my winner.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. The whole team did really well in EU. That was really. We were really happy to see that.
Yeah, we were really happy when we actually got 4 in, so including Soul Striker. So yeah.
Yeah, 4 into the top 16. That's hard. Like even here, a lot of the top teams they didn't have a player to represent them in Top Cut. So yeah, us having 4.
I mean, we had 6 enter, and then 4 of us made it in. So.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. So congratulations, guys. But yeah, I think. Do you have anything else to say? I think we covered quite a lot.
No, I think we're gonna probably just shout out to our sponsors at Ultimate Guard. I saw they
Yeah.
hooked you guys up with a bunch of cool swag. That was
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah. We Vim got a load of stuff from them, so he brought some over. We
That's
got a
awesome.
deck box. We got some sleeves. We got the play mats, snapbacks, and lanyards as well. So yeah, thank you Ultimate Guard for all the stuff. And yeah, I think we should probably be doing more stuff together going forward.
Yeah, 100%. This coming year for 2020, KTM, we're gonna try doing a lot more and kind of be more active in the community. Getting us I'm gonna try getting us under one tree, one KTM thing, no EU, no NA, just
Yeah,
one big
we're still
family.
EU for now, but yeah.
Yeah,
we
but
haven't
it'll be
left
good.
the EU yet today. We were supposed to leave today, but that's delayed until January, so we'll see. But you probably don't know what I'm on about. But the
Yeah.
UKB.
I think I have. I think you guys mentioned it before. Somebody talked to somebody said it before, but yeah, I didn't understand.
Yeah, UK viewers, you all know. So yeah, I think we'll leave it here for today.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on, Danny, and sharing your experience in the North American finals.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, so drop a like, drop your comments below if you have any questions, then we'll be more than happy to answer them. And remember to sub for more content, and I will see you guys next time.